Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar, Hub in a Hybrid World, where we're going to focus on manufacturing. This is your 1 minute warning, 1 minute 30 seconds warning-ish. Still time to go grab a coffee and get yourself comfortable before we start. See you in just over a minute. So just under a minute to go. Thank you everybody for joining us early. Not long now. Get yourselves comfortable. We'll be starting today's webinar focused on manufacturing in about just under a minute, just over 30 seconds. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today on what is actually quite a snowy day still here in the UK, quite unusual for the UK. So thank you for joining. My name is Jane Hammersley and I work for CollabTech Group, and in association with Microsoft, we are looking at Hub in a hybrid world. What do I mean by that? Hub, how it works today in quite an uncertain business world we're in at the moment, what it's going to look like in 6 months' time, and then a year's time, and in the future. Well, none of us have got a crystal ball, but we're all quite sure that Hub has a real place in the world of work, the world of business. So today we're focusing on manufacturing. One quick piece of housekeeping from me, which is a Q&A session that we all love. We want to make this as interactive as possible, so please post your questions in the Q&A box and we promise to get to that later. I'm going to hand over for an introduction to my friend Adam Giles from Microsoft UK, just to tell you a little bit more. Adam.
Thank you very much, Jane. Hello everyone, welcome to session 2 of Hub in a Hybrid World. Thank you very much for joining. Our first session was widely successful. We were looking at education, and you can still get it on demand today. So please do let us know if you'd like to check that session out. Jane can share the link. I work for Microsoft. I am part of the product marketing team for Surface, and I look after Hub specifically. It's been a challenging 12 months. We know for everyone, especially the manufacturing industry, have had to rapidly adapt to the digital practices of the modern workplace, going very remote and looking probably one of the industries that have really starting to look at hybrid workplaces the first. We believe Hub has a unique proposition to help us with helping you really in securing a hybrid format for your colleagues and the people that you work with, making all of their workplaces hybrid and offering a unique perspective in terms of this digital transformation. And the speed of change and the requirement with COVID has had to, as I said, had to be rapid. And we appreciate that there's a lot of boots on the ground still with manufacturing. And today, Jane and the team are going to take you through why Hub is the solution that you should be looking to helping your manufacturing customers really accelerate in 2021. Anyway, that's enough from me. Now it's time to kind of get a front row seat from the team looking at supply chain and manufacturing. So Jane, tell us what's to come.
You're on mute, Jane.
Yazin, you're a star. I have this very good ability to talk lots and very knowledgeably. However, I'm on mute. So Yazin, my colleague, is on duty to tell me if I'm on mute. So see how many times you can spot me doing that. And as we were talking earlier, I think it's actually going to be part of the Oxford English Dictionary. It's going to be, you're on mute. Can you see my screen? And can you see my video? So Yazin, you're a star. Thank you very much. And before we get into the live stuff, let me share with you a little sizzle reel that we shared on LinkedIn for the first time today. And hopefully you can use this with your customers as well. I'm just going to pause it there. Yazin, tell me, can you hear that content?
No, we can't hear the sound.
Right. Now that is because when I pressed my share button, I didn't press. So good tip here for your teams. Make sure you press share computer audio. Let's see if this works. Yazin, tell me if it doesn't, please.
Globe. Sharing information requires technology that breaks down barriers from language and geography through to the inclusion of locally held information to allow teams to communicate and actively collaborate in real time using data that is accessed and retained securely. The Microsoft Surface Hub 2S brings collaboration to every step of the supply chain, no matter where teams are located. External personnel connect to the central office seamlessly, communicating using video while simultaneously working on shared content. This information can then be reshared out to co-workers, irrespective of location, on either personal or group devices. Supply chain is where multiple organizations meet, often resulting in analog elements of the process flow. With Microsoft Whiteboard on Surface Hub 2S, this can easily be captured and included into a digital workflow, creating both a living document and audit trail. Participating in a multi-company meeting could not be easier. Using Microsoft Teams and Surface Hub 2S, communication is clear, seamless and instant, reducing costs associated with both time and travel. The Surface Hub 2S can be used to review designs and suggest changes, using content sourced directly from devices within the Microsoft Teams meeting or connected locally using Miracast. This allows information sourced from multiple devices and software platforms to be dynamically captured and collated to enable real-time efficiencies. Real-world, real interaction. Surface Hub 2S bridges the digital and physical divide in today's hybrid workplaces, further enhanced by the global availability of Microsoft Surface Hub 2S 85-inch in 2021.
Okay, I'm off mute, so it's a good start. That was just a sizzle reel that we have created with Microsoft in order to really bring Hub into today's world and look at where Hub really does add some benefits for you and your customers. So we hope you use that with your customers, because our point of view on this is to enable you with lots of different pieces of content. So it's not just the PowerPoint that maybe we've been using for quite some time, but it's video content, it's social media content. We're going to create a whole program of content for you to use with your customers. So talking of PowerPoint, and we all love a bit of PowerPoint, but it certainly does help us in this situation to tell a story. So let's just dive straight into manufacturing, because manufacturing is one of those areas of our industry that keeps business moving. In fact, as you see here, an amazing stat, 20% plus of the world's workforce is employed in a manufacturing role or another. And the headline that you see on the right hand side there, the fourth industrial revolution, I mean, that's quite an amazing statement. But if we look at the automation of products and producing not just physical but also applications, the advance in technology is replacing inhumans, unfortunately. But it's yet to happen. It's yet to see a decrease in the workforce. In fact, the workforce is still increasing. As I said, 20% plus of the workforce is in a manufacturing role. And that means, put that into some actual figures, at least 600 million people are currently still having to go to work, so go to a place that works in the manufacturing sector, despite the current COVID crisis. And that's because there's 3 billion plus workers in the workforce. So what are they doing? They're actually, there's an awful increase, a huge increase in the data that's produced as well. And that means production needs to get more efficient. And then we need to, with that efficiency, we need to keep quality. And that is anticipated to grow by 14% CAGR, which is just an incredible increase. And with that massive amount of data, that is being produced by IoT applications, and then we're going to see the impact of 5G on that, and that macro analysis of information is going to produce exponential data, and it's going to be enabled by cloud applications. So this is a critical part of the manufacturing, which is having the data, understanding the data, and then actually using it to make that product line itself more effective and more efficient. But it also means there's a high level of collaboration needed. So obviously collaboration, we want to ensure Surface Hub is part of that collaboration itself. And we believe there's this 100 billion is the total addressable market, in order to put into collaboration to unlock 100 billion of value to the manufacturing sector itself. And there are 4 trends really that are driving that that digital collaboration. What is driving that need for digital collaboration? So the first one, retiring baby boomers. So the workforce is getting older, there's no doubt about that. And when people retire, those skills are also retiring, and those baby boomers are being replaced by the younger, less costly potentially, because they're coming in, they're young in their career, but they're also less skilled. But they need to use these advanced information sources, all this data that's being collated on the shop floor, to bridge the gap, the skills gap, if you like. So what's happening is skills can be kept centrally, and probably less people held centrally, but less experienced personnel then can be at the edge. And that's bringing to this kind of regionalisation, if you like. I think we've all heard of the phrase of offshoring for things like logistical costs, but now we're talking, with the impact of COVID, next shoring. So where are the next places where manufacturing is going to move to? And that's, for example, we're hearing about MINT countries, so Mexico, Indonesia, Nigeria and Turkey. And you can see what that's going to make happen. We're going to need better, more efficient, more productive ways to communicate to those MINT countries, to communicate to the environments where that production has been moved to. So where we might have design and the new production schedules being created centrally, where it's actually getting produced is going to be in the next shoring locations. So that's quite interesting, and that's going to absolutely spread the need for a way to collaborate better and more effectively. So these disparate parts of the business is going to need to collaborate in real time. Obviously, you've got time zone considerations, but it needs to be in real time, and the data needs to be accurate. Let's not forget, though, that impact of COVID-19, that the need to collaborate better and more efficiently is also going to drive a spotlight on health and safety. But also considering less travel, as we are at the moment, obviously less costs as well. But and it's a safer environment to people to be working their own environment and collaborate physically and virtually. So they're the sort of 4 trends we're seeing, and there's a lot of data to back this up. But I think if we look then deeper into the actual work practices, what's changing for people, especially in manufacturing, we talked about the IoT amount of data that's being created. So IoT, Internet of Things, the data is collated, but what do you do with it? So if it sits in the cloud, you've got to bring it from the cloud, you've got to analyze it. You use applications such as Power BI to analyze that data. What better device than a Surface Hub 2S to actually use to help you analyze that data? And there's a great headline here, the fragility of the supply chains. And we know that with a manufacturing organization, sit around in that organization are a whole host of multiple other organizations that supply the raw materials in order to make the end product work. And that's driving that real-time collaboration requirement. And it's also impacted the fragmented decision-making process, where the functional experts, those skilled experts, are sitting in central, but the unskilled are sitting at the edge. And therefore, the skills are still in a central location, but the supply chain is also sitting on the edge, pushing the need for these collaboration tools without doubt. So just to summarize, the digital collaboration tools that we talk about, and we talk about very often, are critical to making manufacturing work. And really, Surface Hub gives us many examples, and when I speak for CollabTech have been involved with Microsoft Surface Hub since 2015, when Surface Hub first came out, and we've learned a lot during that time. We've learned certainly the 84-inch was difficult to transport and get to a higher location. But we've also learned a lot about deploying Surface Hubs into many varied verticals. And one of those verticals, obviously, is manufacturing, we're going to talk about today. So what I'd really like to do now is hand the baton to my colleague Yazin, who's going to talk you through 3 scenarios. And the point of this is to give you the stories that you can take to your end customers.
Hello and welcome to Hub in a Hybrid World. My name is Yassine Hayo. I am a collaboration specialist at CollabTech. We help people work better together. We are currently experiencing the world's largest work experiment. COVID-19 has revolutionized the way in which we are working. How do you solve problems that are many miles away from where you might be working? How do you interact and work together with colleagues who may not be physically in the same location as you? Many of our customers in manufacturing have found innovative and amazing solutions to this problem. Ourselves at CollabTech work with the channel. We don't sell directly, and this means that we have seen many success stories of how Surface Hub has aided and revolutionized how customers in manufacturing are working. And what we have done is compiled that information into a 15-minute webinar of our favorite manufacturing stories of how Surface Hub and Microsoft Teams is being used. Let's jump straight into a high-level overview. So the Surface Hub is really about dissolving boundaries, agile tools, and maintaining a digital workflow. If there is only 3 things you take away from today's session, let them be these 3 things here. The Surface Hub dissolves boundaries between the physical and the virtual space, allowing analog and digital content to interact together seamlessly. The agility of the Surface Hub allows you to virtually as well as physically move around and be mobile. The steel case stand that comes with the Surface Hub means you can actually wheel it around. And the option of the APC battery means that you won't even lose power or connectivity when you are doing so. The digital workflow of the Surface Hub allows you to continuously work without breaking your digital stride. The Surface Hub gives you creative and innovative tools that allow you to continue working with ease. It is not at all atypical for a customer of ours to have head office located in Paris, corporate office located in London, and manufacturing plants located in North America, India, as well as China. How do we get all of these pieces working together in harmony at the same time? A Surface Hub in each one of these locations as a central all-in-one collaboration point allows our customers in manufacturing to easily and seamlessly work together. The simple nature of the Surface Hub, as well as some of the native applications on a Surface Hub like Microsoft Teams and Word, means that there is minimal training required to reach proficiency in using Surface Hub. In other words, it's a walk up and use device. Let's take a look at a real world scenario of how Surface Hub was used. One customer of ours, a manufacturing and bottling plant to be specific, found an innovative way to collapse the decision-making process using the Surface Hub, saving time and therefore saving money. I think that is of course important for every single company. How exactly did they do this? Well, a quality assurance engineer came up with an excellent idea for some new materials to use in a bottling plant. Ordinarily, because this process involves many different stakeholders, this could take weeks and even months for the plan to go from inception to fruition. But using Surface Hub, this was trimmed down dramatically. Having all of the relevant people on a Microsoft Teams call, all of the relevant decision makers, essentially sped this process up exponentially, allowing collaboration and communication seamlessly and very easily. One way in which this was done by this manufacturing company was to bring in content to the Surface Hub from Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, the web, or in this case, Miracast. Live information from chats within Microsoft Teams were quickly and easily imported to the Surface Hub and brought as part of the digital workflow of what was going on. This in turn allowed real-time collaboration between all of the different stakeholders and allowing a free-flowing exchange of information. Now, as you can see, there are many different ways in which you can work with the Surface Hub. There is the visual and audio aspect of the Surface Hub, but there is also the interactive way of working together with your colleagues in real time. Now, data and security is another important point. If there is confidential information that you want to keep to yourself on Surface Hub, you can simply end the session and walk away from the Surface Hub without having to worry about your data being lost. I'd like you to take note of the three elements that Surface Hub has just made use of: visual, verbal, and interactive, the three types of learning, you could say. The Surface Hub has been able to combine all three of these whilst not having physical proximity to the people you are collaborating with. Let's take a look at another scenario. How do you solve a problem that is 2,000 miles away? This was a problem faced by one of our customers in manufacturing, and they found a creative solution to get around this problem. This particular customer relied on the movement of goods through their warehouse and their factory floor. This means that any interruption or any problems with their machinery could cost thousands, if not millions, in lost revenue, if not fixed very, very quickly. Using the Surface Hub, this customer was able to pinpoint where the problem was on the manufacturing floor. Because of the agility of the Surface Hub, utilizing the steel case stand and the APC battery, they were actually able to physically wheel the Surface Hub to the problem, meaning that you can get rid of power and Ethernet cables and actually bring the hub to where it needs to be, as opposed to the other way around. Pictures of the piece of machinery were then uploaded onto the whiteboard, and collaborators used it to then troubleshoot and find out exactly where the problem is. Technicians were able to also collaborate directly onto the Surface Hub to provide troubleshooting fixes for this particular scenario. In this particular case, fortunately, the machinery was up and running again in minutes. This could have been a potentially disastrous situation had Surface Hub not been able to come to the rescue, so to speak. Now let's take a look at how the 85-inch Surface Hub is used in manufacturing.
The 85-inch Surface Hub 2S provides manufacturers with all the Surface Hub features we love on a larger 85-inch matte display. With a much greater proportion of real estate than its 50-inch counterpart, the 85-inch caters for more rugged uses of the Surface Hub. As you can see from this side-by-side comparison, the gorgeous 85-inch provides much more space. This caters to cases where manufacturers want the collaborative freedom to work, yet require more physical space to do so. The only real downside of the 85-inch is that it doesn't quite fit into our studio, so our CollabTech colleagues from our Mesa office are here to show you around. So far, we've talked about using the Surface Hub to drive business decisions through powerful visual communication, and how Surface Hub allows experts to bring it to the problem. The final Hub success story we want to share with you is one engine manufacturer we work with through the channel, who are using Hub to run tests and perform real-time diagnostics in virtual environments, increasing efficiency, saving time, and reducing travel costs. We were invited on site to configure multiple Surface Hubs, designed to be used as part of a large network of synchronized engine tests. On-site engineers were able to meet through Microsoft Teams on the predecessor of the 85-inch, the 84-inch Surface Hub 1. With a full-screen video feed, experts were able to collaboratively troubleshoot, with multiple people gathered around the Surface Hub. In today's hybrid world, the large display of the 85-inch means it can be used in larger meeting room spaces, allowing participants an opportunity to socially distance while still working together. They also use the 85-inch to display interactive, real-time telemetry data, creating a virtual environment in which they performed real-time testing and increased engagement without having to fly individuals on site. This has only proven to be a more valuable use case, as in today's world, flying is not an option for many. Not only does the 85-inch allow multiple collaborators to work together in real time, but it also grants the capability for it to be used as the central mission control of the project. The 85-inch has a superior ability to visualize content. Multitasking is seamless, making use of the 85-inch hub's extra real estate to do so with minimal loss in the size of the window when compared to the 50-inch. Annotations, brainstorming, and audio-visual communication allow the dissolving of boundaries between sites, reducing the impact of lack of proximity to the problem. In short, the 85-inch Surface Hub 2S has all the amazing features of the 50-inch, with much more real estate, granting freedom to manufacturers in larger spaces and allowing power use cases where real-time multitasking is imperative. So there you have it. The Surface Hub is about dissolving physical and virtual boundaries, enabling collaboration across all different locations all around the globe. It's about the agility the Surface Hub provides, especially within manufacturing, allowing you to wheel the hub to the problem. And it's about creating a smooth digital workflow whilst doing all these things, so your customers can actually focus on doing the work that they need to do. Thank you very much. I'm Yassine Hayo, Collaboration Specialist.
Wonderful, thank you, Yassine. And I do like the thought of Hub coming to the rescue. I kind of have this mental image now of Hub on a white charger coming back to the rescue here to help everybody. So without further ado, the best part of the day when you get to ask your questions. I've got a few comments come in first. Let me read those out. Firstly, a reminder, this isn't just a UK focused webinar. Thank you for whoever reminded me. This is welcoming UK resellers, partners, and also Central and Western Europe. So thank you. This content that we're creating is pertinent to everybody. I am so sorry we couldn't do it in every language across Europe. As you know, we're doing it in French, English, and German. At the moment, we don't have any more speakers with us that could deliver this, but hopefully we will have in the future. And secondly, yes, we do offer our services. We're channel only, and we offer services around Surface Hub and Microsoft Teams rooms, things like deployment services, virtually and physical, integration services to integrate into their customers' existing 365 environment. So, you know, one of the reasons Microsoft asked us to share our stories is because we do not sell hardware, so we do not compete with anybody, well, certainly this audience here. So, so thank you for your questions. The first one, let me ask a channel question. This is going to be directed to you, Adam. So be aware. It's probably a question you might hear a lot of, which is the discount structure on Surface Hub. How does it work? What is it, and how to access? You might not be able to answer all of that, but if you can help us out with some information, then that would be wonderful. Adam.
Good question. Something I don't have to hand at the moment. I would recommend we can take that away and come back to you on that sort of stuff. So if there's any questions that I don't have top of front of mind today, then we can come back and answer those. I'll also recommend point you towards your distributor as well, who will be kind of able to help you with those. So yes, we'll log that one down and I'll come back with answers. But good question.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you, Adam. The thing that I perhaps would just support you on that is your distributor will be able to help you log any opportunities and apply for special deals, special bids if you have a larger opportunity. So I would recommend you talk to your distributor about that. Yasin, I'm going to put you ready for the next question. And the next question, oh, this is an interesting one. I think, reading between the lines, this partner may have, I don't know if it's a manufacturing customer, I'm not sure, but they're using Webex already. So they've got, I don't know if they've got legacy or they're switching, but how does Hub work with Webex? Yasin.
That's a very good question. So in the past, it wasn't always possible, but at this moment in time, you can actually use Webex with the Surface Hub. If you have the latest version on the Surface Hub, the latest firmware, and if you also have Edge Chromium installed, you can actually install a Webex plugin, and with that, you can use it to conference and use the audio-visual capabilities of the Surface Hub. And that's going to be no doubt useful to many customers. So very good question.
Thank you, Yasin. Yeah, I'm not sure whether this was referring specific to manufacturing or if it's just a customer. And now the next one, it did make me laugh actually, because it came through followed by, so thank you for somebody telling me I was on mute. That's going to be a reoccurring theme without doubt. And then when I play the video and he's on mute, the question came in from that same person is what happens with Hub? Can you play videos like from YouTube or even from a USB key, and does that include audio? So Yasin, are you okay to take that for us?
Yeah. So that's also a very good question. On the Surface Hub, there is a way to do it, and that is by having Windows 10 Pro or Enterprise on it. If you have Windows 10 Teams Edition, that's not currently supported, although that might change. What we generally recommend is for you to feed that back to Microsoft, and if enough people find that kind of thing useful, then it will be taken into consideration.
Thanks, Yasin. Just to clarify on that, if we were running a YouTube video on Hub, just straight from the internet, that would play audio, presumably.
So I read the question. I was assuming it was talking about sharing the system audio on a Teams call. But it would, if you played a video, yeah, you'd be able to hear the sound on it. If you wanted to share it on a Teams call and share your screen, that's when system audio wouldn't be shared.
Clear, very clear. Thank you very much. So whoever put that in the chat, thank you. I'm just making sure that we've got everything, all the questions answered. Okay, We've actually answered all the questions that we have on here. There's one more actually that's just come in. Now I can probably take this. What happened to Surface Hub 2 display? It's not on the roadmap anymore. We can't answer that here right now, quite honestly. That is a conversation or an instruction that will come from Microsoft Corp, and we don't have anybody on the call here that we can do that. Certainly, you know, Hub 2 display was on the roadmap, and for anybody that didn't hear about that, that was one that didn't include the onboard compute. Not sure myself, I haven't seen it. I think realistically we're so looking forward to getting the 85-inch hub that we'd kind of forgotten about the display. And just as a reminder on that, we spoke about this in last week's webinar, but the reminder on the 85-inch hub is availability is imminent into all geos. But of course, as with any new product, there will be limited availability at the very beginning. So the recommendation is to make sure your orders are logged with your distributor, get the actual POs on, and they'll be dealt with in a FIFO manner. So that's it. Thank you so much for listening and participating. More to the point, we've got 2 more webinars coming up next week, same time, same place, where we're going to talk about financial services, and we've got some great use cases and some stories to share with you there. And then the following week we talk about public sector, and again some really good stories that you can then use with your customers as well. Thank you very much. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Yazine, my colleague, for helping me out with the technical questions. But more to the point, thank you, Yazine, for reminding me I was on mute. So once again, I was Jane Hammersley from Collabtech, and I look forward to seeing you on the next webinar.